Real freedom isn't just flexibility, it's ownership. Ownership of your income, ownership of your time, ownership of your future, because right now, if you don't own anything, someone else owns you. The wage gap is increasing every single day in America. The people at the top are making more money, the people in the middle are getting squeezed, wages are not keeping up, and you don't own anything, because when you own nothing, you control nothing, and when you control nothing, you are not free. Ownership isn't just about real estate or money. Ownership is about you being able to control your life, having some level of control in your life. It's about having the ability to make decisions for yourself because you own assets, because you own something, and you don't just rent your entire life, because right now, you rent your house, you rent your car, you rent everything, and your job dictates where you work, when you work, where you have to live, how much money you make. Your job dictates when you can even take time off to be with your family. You don't own your time right now. Your company owns your time. Your company owns your location. Ownership is not just owning physical assets and real estate and business. Ownership is taking radical responsibility for your life. Ownership is saying, I'm responsible, I want to be free, I want to have freedom in my life across all areas. So I am going to go take responsibility. I'm going to go start a business. I'm going to go buy real estate. I'm going to go create something outside of just being in my job. Having a job does not mean safety anymore. With the advent of AI, other technology, the wage gap, rising shareholder expectations, your ability to keep your job is not within your control. Your ability to negotiate your salary is not within your control. You are not safe. I'm hearing that they're cutting 401k benefits, bonuses, healthcare benefits. You are not in control. You do not own your benefits. You do not own your salary. You are not safe just because you have a job anymore. It is riskier to have a job and not own anything than it's ever been before. Having ownership in something means that you have a little bit of stability and security in something else besides someone else's salary, besides your company's salary that they give to you. Having ownership means that you can negotiate. Having ownership means that you can make other decisions. You can say no to people. You can say no to your boss. You can say no to the job. You can take a break. Ownership gives you the flexibility. Ownership gives you the freedom, because tomorrow is not guaranteed at your job or in life. Ownership gives you the confidence and the ability to go take the leap into your true purpose. Security is not taking a mediocre salary and living paycheck to paycheck and working 40, 50, 60 hours a week just to pay the bills. That is not security. That is not safety. You could have great healthcare, you could have a 401k, you could have all these benefits, but security does not come in the form of a paycheck. Security comes in the form of you owning something that you can then leverage and use to go build the life that you want. You can be called in your boss's office tomorrow and everything is gone. And if you're still trading your time for money, that means you have zero money coming in as soon as your boss says so. Security is having side income, side hustle, passive income, assets that pay you every month, real estate, a business, ownership in gold, silver, oil, gas, commodities. What do you actually own that gives you the platform and the foundation that if you lost your job tomorrow, you'd be fine? Security is having a stack of cash in your savings. Security is having assets that pay you every month. Security is having access to cash flow and equity in things that you actually own. The reason that you feel so anxious is because you're not safe in your job. You show up to work and you wonder what you're doing there. You look around. You know that you can get fired at any point. You know that you should be buying an asset. You know that you should be buying real estate, but you haven't taken the leap because the comfort and perceived security keeps you stuck. You see, when you don't own anything, you believe it's harder and more difficult to then go own something. You get stuck in a cycle and a trap of, I'm comfortable, I feel somewhat safe, but I don't want to leave that safety and perceived security to go take a risk and go buy something. But what I'm telling you is it's riskier to not own something and be stuck in your job at the beck and call of your boss and the company. It's riskier to not own something and just rely on a paycheck and have no money in your savings account and have credit card debt piling up than to go take the risk on buying something that will eventually create wealth and create freedom for yourself. When you have ownership in something, you know what you can do with it. You know where you can manage it from, where you can travel to, how much effort it takes. You now have the ability to go create more flexibility and more freedom because you own it. You can quit your job, you can take a sabbatical, you can do whatever you want when you have ownership in something that's paying you every single month. Right now, your options are, do I go into work or do I not? Because if I don't go into work, I'm not going to make money. Can I take time off? I don't have enough PTO to take time off. So I got to keep going and showing up to work. You might have kids at home that are young and you want to spend more time with them, but because you don't own anything, you have to go into work. You have to trade your time for money. You don't have any other jobs. You're waiting for that position to open to get a promotion. They open it and guess what? You don't get the job or they close it and they never fill the position. And it took a year to even get to that point. I was just talking to someone. He's been waiting a year for a promotion to open up just to make an extra 10%, an extra 20%. In that time, he could have bought real estate. He could have started a business. He could have started a podcast, created some additional income and owned something that create additional options for himself. But when you really look at the situation you're in by going to work every single day, you have no options. You must go into work. You must log into that laptop. You must ask for time off. You must use their healthcare. You must use their benefits. You must invest in the 401k. And again, it limits your options and it keeps you safe and stuck and comfortable. And that's how it's designed. And so what I'm saying is your ability to get out of that safety circle, that perceived safety circle, and move into ownership is what will eventually create all the options that you've ever been asking for. And if you've got kids, you get them for 18 years to build relationships. And really, you got until they get into high school. So you got 12 years with your kids before they start to spend less and less time at home. And so do you want to be spending actual time with them, actual time with your family, traveling the world, creating experiences, teaching them about ownership and responsibility and accountability, showing them a different way of doing things? Or do you want to show that you just went to work every single day, you didn't take care of yourself, you weren't at home, just because you could only figure out how to trade time for money? That's not the American dream. The American dream is an American nightmare. Wages are at the same level they've been since like the 80s. Wages have not gone up like at all in the last 30 years. And we know how much more expensive it is. How many families have both parents working full-time jobs? That's a byproduct of everything getting so much more expensive and wages staying stagnant. And what I'm saying is there's another option. Ownership in something. Buying an asset. Taking a quote-unquote risk to go create a new life for yourself. You can delay gratification for 1 to 2 years and create a whole new life for yourself. But you spend so much time and energy at work and thinking about work and then dealing with everything else and taking care of the house and doing all these chores that you're not actually doing the thing that you want to be doing and that will create the future that you desire. And ownership is patriotic. This country, when people own things, was the most patriotic country in the world. And now, patriotism is at an all-time low. One of the reasons is because we don't own anything anymore. We are a society of consumers. We consume, we rent, we're nomads. Many Americans live abroad and they don't own anything at home because we grew up in a time where the American dream of owning a home has disappeared. And owning something is what it means to be patriotic. That ownership is motivation to continue to invest in yourself, in your community, in your city, your state, and your country. But right now we're a nation of renters and we feel left behind. Everyone feels left behind because of the wage gap, because they can't buy a home, because they live in a gray box apartment with 100 other boxes. If you're one of those people that lives in one of those apartments or condos, do you know any of your neighbors? Do you feel like you want to make connections with your neighbors? Or is it just a place for you to sleep so that you're close to the train or the restaurants or the bars or your job? And you're just going to and from those locations without actually connecting with people? Would you defend your country over that building, over that apartment that you live in? No. Who even owns that apartment building? Is it an American? Is it a US citizen? Or is it someone from overseas? I'm proud of the things that I own. I'm proud of my ownership in real estate and my business and the people that we employ. It does connect me with the places where we own property. It does connect me with my community. It does make me want to defend my ability to continue to own and operate and create income and create businesses and own real estate. It makes me want to live here. It makes me want to stay here. It makes me want to know my neighbors and create community. There's something so unique and so great about owning a piece of property in the United States. When you go back to how this country was founded, and I know there's a lot of controversy over that, but when you go back and you think about manifest destiny, like we're still doing that. We're still desiring our own piece of land. And so many people will never be able to do that. But not you listening to this. You can own a piece of America. You can own your own land. You can own your own property. Do not let all these reasons and excuses of the wage gap and your job and your company, all this stuff that I'm talking about, don't let that stop you. You're a fucking American. The great thing about this country is you can decide to create something today. And as long as you're adding value and you don't stop, you will be rewarded for that. The more value that you add, the more that you create, the more value that you create in the world, the more you're rewarded. It's not easy, but it's better. My prediction is that this trend is going to continue where more and more corporations own more and more of the country. Single-family homes, apartment complexes, hotels, all the real estate will start to shift up to the top. All the real estate will be owned by corporations, except for people like you and me that decide to continue to buy, continue to push, and continue to own pieces of this country and create unique experiences, create something unique and different and prideful. We will continue to be a nation of renters, and my belief is that we won't even necessarily have employees moving forward. I believe all of us will be independent contractors or freelancers, and our social media profiles will be our resume. Our LinkedIn profiles, our Instagrams, whatever platform, that will be our resume. How we show up online will be our resume, and we will be contracted to different companies to perform different work. We will all become independent contractors, which is great because you can start now, you can create a business, you can create a company around exactly what it is you do right now, and you can own a company, you can create more income, and then you can use that income to go buy real estate or start another business and create ownership by taking a little bit of a risk. And the trend will continue that we dive deeper and deeper into consumerism and consumption. There will be people that create offline experiences. I'm going to help support that. I'm going to continue to be online because I think this is important for people to hear, and that my message is one that will create goodness in the world. My message is one that will create value and goodwill in the world. But AI slop, clickbait, rage bait, brain rot, all that stuff will continue. TikTok shop, all that stuff will continue. Consumerism and consumption will get even greater and greater. Differentiation through content will get harder and harder. Your ability to discern what's real and what's not will get harder and harder. And anyone that does not own something will be out of control and will not be free. There will be cameras everywhere, meta glasses, wearables, AI tech everywhere. Your every move will be tracked. Your consumption history will be tracked. You'll be buying what they serve you on social media. Most people will not be free because they will be trapped in consumerism and whatever is presented to them through their phone or computer. When you own something, you are participating in that economy because someone will be consuming your product or your service. But when you own something, you have the ability to go live the life that you want. You do not have to submit to the consumerism. You do not have to submit to whatever is presented to you on social media. You will have options. Yes, there is risk. Yes, there is difficult things. Yes, you're starting a business. Yes, all of that. But that's what's so great about this country is because you are a good person and you can add value. And that's what we need in this world. We need good people to do good things, to create more value and more goodwill and own more things. Because right now, less and less good people are owning things and more of ownership is being shifted up to the top, out of our control, homogenized and presented to us as if it's our only option. I'm 39 years old. I got my first computer when I was 8 years old. And then I began building computers and I taught myself how to program. I was building websites back in like 1995. They were illegal download websites. It was like ROMs and emulators and like nerdy stuff. I was like sharing files. But I've seen the evolution of the internet. I got my first phone when I was in high school, when I was a freshman. And even that was early for most people. It was the Nokia 3300 with Snake on it. And then I also got the Motorola Razr, which is back now. But I've seen the evolution of the internet into smartphones. I've seen when websites were blogs and fun things, MySpace, Facebook. I was there for the start of Facebook. I've seen it turn into something that was fun into full-on capitalism. And now we're seeing a shift back to offline and more natural creators and everyday people outside of the polished stuff. And I love that. But that's a small fraction of what's really going on. The larger percentage of people all over the world, not just America, are consuming daily and they're distracted daily. The phones are distracting and they're taking away your ability to create something for yourself. The trend is going to continue. This path is going to continue. unless you decide to change it. And the way you change it is by going and owning a piece of land, owning a business, owning real estate, creating income outside of your job. I know it sounds like I'm just trying to say go buy real estate. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying own something, do something, create something, and then share it with the world. Share it with everybody. Tell everybody what you're doing. Tell your story. Tell the struggles. Say everything. Otherwise, everything is just going to be a homogenized box. All the clothes are going to be the same. All the buildings are going to be the same. Everything is just going to get turned into a box, a white and gray box. And you're just going to be buying and scrolling and buying and scrolling and buying and scrolling. And your apartment's going to get smaller. And your friend circle is going to get smaller. Your connections are going to decrease. Mental health crisis is going to continue. But when you go own something, when you go do something for yourself to create ownership, something changes inside. It's a ripple effect inside of you, into your family, and into your community. We love an underdog story. America loves an underdog story, right? So think of yourself as an underdog. You're trapped at work. You're trading your time for money. You don't know how to get out. Start today. Go own something. Own a business. Own real estate. Own your life. Take responsibility. This is your opportunity to go create something. Break the chain of your family history. Break the chain and show your wife, your husband, your brother, your sister, your mom, your kids. Show everybody what it means to go do something for yourself and own a piece of this country and share it with the world. All right, everybody. This has been For Your Own Good. As always, I appreciate you. I love you. Peace.